Thanks for joining us on Power Lunch. This is Bloomberg Quint. I'm Harsha Subramaniam.
Good afternoon. I'm Meera Dugal. Let's get you the headlines. Nifty and Sensex trade with muted gains. Z Entertainment and Yes Bank hold the benchmarks back.
The Reserve Bank of India appoints former RBI Deputy Governor R Gandhi as additional director on Yes Bank's board in a rare move.
Tata Chemicals will transfer all of its food brands to Tata Global Beverages in exchange for a stake in the company.
Monsoon will hit Kerala 6 days later than scheduled, says the Met Department. We'll get to all of that. A quick check on how the markets are faring right now. Yatin is here with a closer look at some of those stock movers. Yatin.
Good afternoon, Harsha. And if you look at the markets, we are almost 30 points up on the Nifty. Advance decline ratio also looking better than what we had a few days back. The advance decline ratio on Nifty 50 is 1:1. Of course, if you look at the gainers list, that's a long list. Eicher Motors, Bajaj Finance, UPL, M&M, these are the stocks which are doing extremely well as far as the markets are concerned. In fact, Eicher Motors, after correcting yesterday and slipping below the 20,000 mark, is recouping some losses, 3.5% up for that auto company. Z, and that is one stock in focus. Of course, there have been various concerns in the marketplace, but today the stock has seen some strong selling and good volumes in the cash market, almost 8% down for that one. Went as low as 10% in intraday trade. Yes Bank, Tata Motors and GAIL are also the other losers which are quite active in the future and option segment. As far as other active stocks are concerned in the marketplace, Idea Cellular, that is one stock which is down 5%. Union Bank, after the loss in the fourth quarter, we have seen that PSU Bank down nearly 10% in trade. And SRF is also one stock which is marching ahead, almost 6% up for that one after the management guided for a strong double-digit growth as far as their specialty business is concerned.
Yathan, thank you for that. Let's move on now. The Reserve Bank of India has stepped up regulatory supervision of Yes Bank. It's appointed former Deputy Governor R Gandhi as an additional director on the lender's board. Ira is standing by with more sort of context to this one. This is a rare move, isn't it, Ira?
Late last evening, we heard from the bank, that's Yes Bank, that the Reserve Bank of India has informed it that they are appointing R Gandhi as an additional director on the board of Yes Bank. There's a lot to be said about what's gotten the bank here, but important to see what it means really. Now, R Gandhi is an old regulatory hand, so a lot of people this morning have come in and said that this is going to be good for corporate governance at the bank, help the bank in its transition phase. It is good actually, and it's akin to having, say, an adult in the room, adult supervision as the bank finds its way into a new leadership and a new strategy perhaps. So that's the good news. But remember, the RBI has invoked a rare section, that's 36AB of the Banking Regulation Act, which is only done when the RBI feels that it's necessary to protect the interests of the bank and the depositors of the bank. So it's hardly a gold star for Yes Bank that they have R Gandhi now appointed on the board by the RBI. Why is this being done? There are a couple of issues at Yes Bank which need a lot of attention even after the management transition. The management transition has only started. You have a new CEO, but there's a lot going on, and we'll detail that in a minute. Stressed assets are still a problem, and capital raising has become the most immediate concern for the bank. Let's look at each of these issues in themselves. Now, yes, Ravneet Gill has taken over, but remember, Rana Kapoor still holds 10% in the bank. He is one of the Indian partners, and he holds that 10%. He, together with the Madhu Kapoor Group, have the ability to appoint 3 directors on the board of Yes Bank. Currently, there are 2 directors on behalf of the Indian partner. Shagun Gogia, the daughter of late Ashok Kapoor, has been brought onto the board. That's a long-standing fight which has been resolved. And the other Indian partner director is Ravinder Kumar Khanna. There is a third seat still open. Rana Kapoor has not actually put himself up for nomination, but he does have the ability to do that, or at least if the 2 reach an agreement, a third Indian partner director could be appointed. The simple point is that the influence of the past management has not gone away from the bank. So that's one thing that needs to be kept in mind as we are discussing the management transition. The other thing, of course, is the chairman. The role of the chairman is going to be very important. He's been around since 2013, so he is in some ways from the old guard. Does that become a complicating factor, and can R Gandhi sort of make sure that there is smoothness in the functioning of the board and factions within the board? That is one reason why Mr. Gandhi's appointment will perhaps be positive. That's on the management transition side. Now let's come to stress stressed assets. We already know that they saw a jump in the NPA numbers to 3.22% in terms of gross NPAs. The important point to note here is that this came after an asset quality review. So you have to wonder that despite 2 rounds of an asset quality review, where was this stuff hidden that Ravneet Gill is now finding? And that's something that the regulators will be watching very closely. There's a 10,000 crore watch list that has been defined. Some analysts believe that that's not even the entirety of the stressed asset pool, because their exposure to groups like the SL Group and the ADAG Group is quite large. ADAG Group in particular, 50% of their common equity tier 1 capital is linked to ADAG Group exposures. This is both in terms of funded and non-funded. Bloomberg Quint had reported that a few days back. So, stressed assets is still a problem. The immediate issue has become capital raising because their common equity tier 1 ratio is at 8.4%, well below what most private banks tend to hold. That will hold back not just their growth, but they need to provision against these stressed assets. Their provision coverage ratio is not very high either. So ICRA and India Ratings came in and downgraded Yes Bank because of those capital concerns. And a lot of analysts and investors who have met the management over the last few weeks have questioned whether they have the ability to raise money via QIP at this stage when there's such cloudiness over the bank, its processes and its future. So then do they need to bring in sort of patient capital, private equity? But if they have to bring in private equity, then one of the promoters has to be willing to give up a board seat. So, there's an additional complication there as well. These are some of the issues that are plaguing Yes Bank, and perhaps, as many analysts have said in their notes this morning, the RBI's move is preemptive. This is a large bank. This is not a Lakshmi Vilas Bank or a Dhanlakshmi Bank, who have earlier seen RBI directors appointed on their board. This is a large private sector bank where the RBI cannot take any chances with its position deteriorating any further.
Thanks for putting that in context. Let's move on now. Tata Sons chairman N. Chandrasekaran has been working on streamlining the conglomerate for some time now, and housing the entire food business under a single company is part of this larger plan. Bloomberg News has learned that Tata Global Beverages is the company earmarked to house all these brands. PR Sanjay is here with most details on the story. Sanjay, so what's the game plan really?
Harsha, the largest theme which is playing around in Tata as a conglomerate is 3 things: pruning businesses, consolidation, and simplification. Since Chandrasekaran took over, Narayan Chandrasekaran took over the conglomerate, he was focusing on these 3 things. So if you carefully see the annual report, which just was launched in just a few hours ago, which clearly says, Ajoy Mishra saying that we are looking at simplifying the structure. They merged all overseas unit into one of TGPL, into one for the efficiency and simplicity.
That is Tata Global Beverages.
So now the next step would be to buy all branded food products from Tata Chemicals into TGBL. So, and then they could rename Tata Global Beverages, which will be the flagship company for FMCG business for Tata. So, which would mean it will be simplifying the structure of food business, and there will be a new company which will be leading the sale of branded food business, which will lead. So, this management bandwidth won't be scattered across. They can focus on this particular thing, and it is not. We'll have to wait and watch what will happen for Tata Coffee. Whether it will merge within Tata Global in some time, we'll have to wait and watch. We are expecting announcement on which will make these branded foods items from Tata Chemicals merging into Tata Global Beverages.
Interesting move there. Thanks, Sanjay, for putting that in context.
All right, let's move on. Indigo is mapping out an ambitious long-haul flight plan. The budget carrier is considering outpriced business class seats as a way into the Europe area market. Sorry, that's your Europe-Asia market. Anurag of Bloomberg News joins us with the details. Anurag.
Yes, so this airline has a really ambitious plan of connecting Europe with India with one stop. I mean, these are really long flights. We're talking about 7, 8, 9, 10, 11-hour flights. And the current product will need some tweaking. So Indigo CEO Ranojay told us that business class is one of the options it's considering. And people need to be comfortable on these long flights where they need to use the washrooms more, where they need to sleep more. So things that could be included are like hot towels, more food, more leg room, all of these things. Indigo is not going to be the first low-cost airline to try this. Norwegian airline, as well as Malaysia's AirAsia X, they tried this model. They had a premium product. They tried intercontinental flights that made it kind of mixed success. They had a large leg room and things like that. Scoot, which is the budget arm of Singapore Airlines, it also connects to Europe and it offers in-flight entertainment, it offers charging ports for passengers, all of these things. Now, we don't know yet what exactly Indigo's potential business class would look like, and in terms of cost, how it will differentiate from the competing airlines. But this is definitely something the airline is considering, and they're going to start flights to Europe in the next 6 months. So we'll have to wait and see how this pans out.
Anurag, thank you so much for that. Let's move on now. The consumption slowdown coupled with the Cleanup Act in the financial sector has held back the overall performance of corporate India in the March quarter. But there are some companies in the mid-cap space that have stood out. Sumit is standing by with some of those top performers in the mid-cap space.
So I'll start off with how we have selected these companies first. So we have selected companies that have a market capitalization of more than 500 crore rupees and have recorded at least a 20% growth rate both in revenue and EBITDA front compared to last year. So I'll start off with Godrej Properties. Now the company reported its best quarterly sales led by delivery of its flagship Trees project in Vikhroli and because of launch of 4 new projects, 2 in NCR and 1 each in Pune and Bangalore. Now, along with that, if you see the company's EBITDA margin, that stood at close to 15.8%, which was the highest in the last 9 quarters. Second on the list is Great Eastern Shipping. Now the company witnessed an 11 times jump in its EBITDA mainly on the back of higher charter rates. Now the average rate earned by the company on crude carriers jumped nearly 68% compared to last year, while that of other products increased by nearly 12%. Third on the list is Tejas Networks. Now after 6 weak quarters, the company was able to meet on its revenue guidance for the first time in the 4th quarter of financial year 2019, which was aided by higher international revenue segment, which also aided the company's EBITDA in the 4th quarter. Fourth on the list is DCM Shriram. Now the higher sugar and chemical segment revenue due to increased volumes aided the company's revenue and EBITDA in the 4th quarter. Now chemical segment revenues increased because of the new capacity that was commissioned by the company in the 4th quarter, while the sugar revenues increased due to higher domestic and export sales. Fifth on the list is Granules India. Now the company's sales increased nearly 22% due to higher sales from formulation division, while the EBITDA of the company doubled because of superior product mix and because of lower raw material cost. Sixth on the list is Capri Global Capital. Now this is an NBFC, so we have considered the net interest income of this company, and if you see the net interest income of this company, it has increased nearly 73% compared to last year because of growth in mortgage finance and because of corporate finance lending growth that we had seen in the 4th quarter for this company. Seventh on the list is Orient Cement. Now high cement prices in key markets and lower cost doubled Orient Cement's EBITDA in the 4th quarter compared to last year. Then we have Biocon. Now continued momentum in biosimilars and its subsidiary, that is Syngene International, aided the company's financial in the 4th quarter. And for Syngene International, if you see, it was strong performance from both its key segments, that is the discovery and the development services, that aided the over 20% growth rate for this company when it comes to revenue and EBITDA. Lastly, we have Sterlite Technologies. Now higher growth from the service segment due to execution of the Navy order led to this more than 2 times jump in the company's revenue and a 48% jump in company's EBITDA in the 4th quarter of financial year 2019.
All right, Sumit, thanks so much for that. Global fund managers are prepared for long drawn-out trade talks between Donald Trump and Xi Jinping, but a no-deal scenario has not been factored in, says the latest Bank of America Merrill Lynch Global Fund Managers survey. The survey also shows that fund managers are more optimistic about stronger growth in the coming months. Yatin Mota is here to take us through the key takeaways. Yatin.
Well, if you look at the fund manager survey, the key concern area is the expectation of a possible deal between US and China regarding the trade war which is ongoing. No fund manager, to the survey surprise, has factored in a no deal. So probably that could be one of the biggest risks according to the survey, as far as fund managers being questioned as far as this entire research is concerned. 34% or more than 1/3 of the fund managers are sitting on protection. They have hedged their positions given the fact that in the next 1.5 months there have been a lot of events which are lined up, and in order to protect their portfolios from volatility, most of them have bought in hedges. Nearly 70% or a majority of the fund managers surveyed by Bank of America Merrill Lynch do expect that in the next 12 months or so there would be a stable regime as far as US Federal Reserve rates are concerned, they're expecting rates to be more or less stable at the current levels. Of course, the top sectoral themes according to the fund manager survey outcome is technology, healthcare as well as discretionary. So these are the three sectors wherein a lot of allocation is happening in as far as fund managers are concerned. However, according to Bank of America Merrill Lynch bull and bear indicator, which is at a level of 5.1%, that indicates that the confidence levels for making new purchases in May is quite low, which means that fund managers are just holding on to positions. The activity on the buy side is quite low. And finally, as we usually sum up the entire survey, is the key overcrowded trades. Number one is long US technologies. As I was mentioning earlier, technologies continue to be one of the favorite sectors of global fund managers. However, most of them also believe, on the contrary, that this is one of the trades which is overcrowded. Short European stocks as well as long US dollar are the other crowded trades which the survey points out are the key takeaways from the fund manager survey that BOFA had concluded recently.
All right, thanks so much for that, Yatin. The Indian Met Department says that the monsoon will hit the Kerala coast only by the 6th of June. That's 6 days later than scheduled. The Met Department says the latest reading shows rains over the Andaman and Nicobar Islands in southeast Bengal in about 10 days from now. It's expected to pick up pace as rain clouds move over the southern tip of the country.
In politics, Amit Shah's roadshow in Kolkata was marred with violence last evening after Trinamool Congress supporters and the BJP party workers got into a scuffle. Public property was damaged and the BJP president had to be escorted away by the police. Both the political parties are blaming each other, with the Trinamool Congress accusing the BJP of destroying the statue of a local icon, Vidyasagar. The BJP, on the other hand, has already complained to the Election Commission, asking the watchdog to bar the West Bengal Chief Minister from campaigning before the 7th and final phase of polling. Let's hear out what Amit Shah and Mamata Banerjee had to say about this incident.
अब तक चुनाव के 6 चरण समाप्त हो चुके हैं। देश भर में 6 के 6 चरण में कहीं पर हिंसा की कोई घटना नहीं हुई, सिवाय बंगाल के। श्रीमती ममता बनर्जी का आरोप है कि हिंसा भारतीय जनता पार्टी कर रही है। मैं ममता बनर्जी को एक बात बताना चाहता हूं कि आप सिर्फ 42 सीटों पर चुनाव लड़ रही हैं। भारतीय जनता पार्टी देश के हर राज्य में चुनाव लड़ रही है और हर राज्य में अलग अलग पार्टियों के खिलाफ, कांग्रेस पार्टी के खिलाफ, स्थानीय दलों के खिलाफ हमारा मुकाबला है। वही हिंसा नहीं होती है और 6 के 6 चरण में बंगाल में हिंसा होती है। इसका मतलब ही होता है कि हिंसा का कारण तृणमूल कांग्रेस है, भारतीय जनता पार्टी नहीं है।
অমিত শাহ মিছিল করেছেন যে রাস্তা দিয়ে, ওই মিছিল যেই শেষ হয়েছে, ওই মিছিল থেকে বেরিয়ে বিজেপির কিছু গুন্ডা হাতের ডান্ডা এবং আগুন নিয়ে গিয়ে বিদ্যাসাগর কলেজে আগুন লাগিয়েছে। ঈশ্বরচন্দ্র বিদ্যাসাগরের মূর্তি ভেঙে দিয়েছে। এত বড় লজ্জা কখনো কলকাতায় ঘটেনি, এমনকি নকশালদের আমলেও এই ঘটনা কিন্তু ঘটেনি।
Pradipta Mukherjee of Bloomberg News now joins us on the phone line for more details on this one. Pradipta, what's the situation on the ground now, and what does this say about this culture of violence in Bengal politics?
Okay, so as we know, yesterday there were clashes between supporters of BJP and Trinamool, and there were students also available during the Amit Shah road show, which happened in College Street, which is in North Kolkata. It started from 6:30 in the evening. And clashes included, bikes and bicycles set on fire, stones were thrown at each other. Currently, the situation is under control. There is no violence in College Street area. However, there are protest march. So other political parties like CPM and there are several other intellectual protest marches also in so many parts of Kolkata. I was also talking to Mr. Pradeep Gupta, who is the secretary of Bengal Initiative, which is a liberal think tank. And he said that street violence accompanying political procession is a terrible thing that had not happened in Bengal for many years. He is shocked that such a thing has happened, And more importantly, it led to the destruction of Ishwar Chandra Vidyasagar's statue, who happens to be the most outstanding secular reformer in our colonial history. So it's very sad that a situation like that had happened. But fortunately, the situation is under control as far as violence is concerned. But in Kolkata, you will see a peaceful protest march happening in several parts of the city today.
Pratipta, thank you so much indeed for joining us for those details.
That's a wrap on this edition of Power Lunch. Thanks so much for watching.
A lot more coming up.